Evening, we'd like to call to order the regular governing board meeting of the Jefferson Elementary School District, August 28, 2024 at 7:00 p.m. And Ms. Coveray, can you please call the members present?
Manufo Leah Inga Anuai is absent. Aaron Rashba. Here. Anthony Sujisaka.
Here.
Andrea Jordan.
Here.
Shakil Ali.
Here. And we will ask Mr. Valenti to please lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Unanimously approved. Now it's time for board member acknowledgements and commendations, and we will start with Trustee Rashba.
Nothing too much to add. Very happy to be here for another board meeting and delighted to be off to a good 24-25 school year.
I echo the sentiment. No further additions.
Echo the same sentiments, and thank you for everyone for being here tonight.
Okay, so I'll just go along with that as well. Thank you everyone for coming, and we'll move on to superintendent comments.
So I do have a few words. Last week, we held a special study session on the California Voting Rights Act and by-area elections. So we want to thank all the families who attended and shared interest in learning more about school boards and how they work and the pros and cons of transitioning to by-area elections. So we're going to be holding some virtual sessions for families in September to provide more information on these requested topics. So we just wanted to let the public know. At our next school board meeting, we'll also have an agenda item sharing the highlights from the special study session. And then we want to remind families that there's no school on Monday in observance of Labor Day, and our district office will also be closed. And next Thursday, September 5th, is back to school night for our elementary sites. Some of our elementary sites held their back to school night the day before school started. So the sites that will have back to school night are Franklin D. Roosevelt, Garden Village, George Washington, MP Brown, MH Tobias, and Thomas Edison. So we encourage families to check with those school sites to see what times those start, because a lot of times they have additional events happening. And that's it.
Thank you. Item 5C, persons wishing to address the board. This portion of the agenda is available to individuals to comment on or address the board on any issue that is under the board's jurisdiction and not on the agenda. The maximum time allowed for any speaker is usually 2 minutes. And do we have any speaker cards? Okay. Moving on to item 6A. Consent agenda. Before we approve, does anyone want to pull anything off the consent agenda?
Yes, I would like to remove item 8B from the consent agenda. Yes.
Okay, any other requests? If not, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve with 8B taken off consent agenda.
Second.
All those in, actually, this is a roll call.
Aaron Rashba.
Aye.
Anthony Sujisaka.
Aye.
Andrea Jordan.
Aye.
Shakil Ali.
Aye. Unanimously approved. Item 6F, CSBA call for nominations for directors at large. CSBA is seeking nominations for directors at large, Hispanic and Asian Pacific Islander. The administration recommends that the board considers making a nomination. Nominations are due to the superintendent by September 11, 2024, for consideration at the September 25th board meeting. This is submitted for the board's information. So do we have any?
Just a question. Does this representative need to be a school board member?
Yes, they have to be a member of the California School Boards Association, because it's basically a representative body that helps set the direction and vision for the California School Board Association. So alternating years, they have different groups representing for nominations. And so last year, it was African American, American Indian, I can't remember all the different groups. And so this year it is Hispanic and Asian Pacific Islander. So if you do want to nominate, please let us know by September 11th, because there are some forms that need to be filled out. You also need to check with the candidate that you're nominating to see if they are willing to be a director at large. And then there's some background information you will need. So that's why we need some time to get that information. So if you do have someone you want to nominate, just contact me or Ms. Covere and let us know who that person is. And also make sure you contact them, the candidate, to see if they're willing.
Any other questions?
Since this is an information item, we can just talk to you directly and there's no need to come back to this meeting, correct? Okay.
Correct.
All right, any questions? Okay, we'll move on to item 7N, contracted services, Latchkey Alternative Center. The administration recommends acceptance of a contract in the amount of $334,800 with Latchkey Alternative Center to provide a base after-school program at FDR School. The contract will be funded by the ACES and Expanded Learning Opportunities Program grant.
If I may provide some background information, this is a new contract with Latchkey, even though they've been a partner with our district for a very long time. They provided after school and before school care separately on our school campuses using a facilities use agreement. But this is the first time that we are using our after school program funds to have them do the after school program. So we're excited about this partnership because they've been, I think, 40 years working alongside our district.
Question, and I'll say we're proud alumni family of Latchkey, but just wondering how this transition has been so far. Like, is there, or how this would work? Is there there's not two separate after-school programs, right? It would be one merged program, and I'm wondering how that would interface with the before-school program.
So the before school program is part of Latchkey and it's part of their fee-based program. The after school program is what we're offering, and there are criteria for student qualifications. It's a family income level, et cetera. So that is a separate program. I'm not sure if they're also running a coinciding program that is fee-based, but I know our district program offers for students that meet qualifications, and they're running that program.
President Ali, can I ask a question? And were they the after-school program in the previous school year?
No, they were not. That's why this is a not consent item, because it's a new contract.
Is there a reason why we're moving away from the previous after-school program from the previous year?
Yes, because it was actually district provided after-school program with district staff, which has become quite difficult to staff. So we've been moving towards contracted services. And so Franklin D. Roosevelt and George Washington were the last two schools that were district run. And so now all of our schools are contracted.
And what other schools is Latchkey currently at?
This is the only school.
Got it. So you did say that we've been partnering with them for years. Has it only been with the morning program?
The partnering is that they use our facilities to run their private before and after school care. So that partnership has been more that they're on the site. They've been a community partner for the school for a long time.
So just using the facility per se. Got it. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Just wondering how many spaces there are for students at this program.
Oh, I see the principal is here. I don't have the answer. Do you have the answer to that? I don't want to put you on the spot. And Jen LaRock is here too, who also oversees the program. 100 for those at home. 100 students fill those spots.
Actually, I have another question. In the trying to be equitable, I know we said that it is going to be based on income, but for those families that can't afford it, but also still need childcare, are they going to have to then contract out to another location because essentially they don't fit the criteria because of income?
Miss LaRock, do you have the answer to that question? I don't want to put you on the spot. The question was, the question was for families that don't meet the criteria for the ELOP, if they need childcare, are they still able to get it through latchkey fee-based? Was that your question?
First, we have to open it up to everyone who qualifies under the ELOP qualifications. And once we've offered it to all of the unduplicated ELOP families, if there is space remaining, then it's open to anyone. And at FDR, as of right now, it's been open to anyone and there is no wait list.
Thank you.
Any other questions, issues, concerns? Okay, do we have a motion?
I'll move to approve the contract with Latchkey Alternative Center.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Unanimously approved. Item 7O, Contracted Services KCE Champions. The administration recommends acceptance of a contract in the amount of $16,720 with KCE Champions to provide an additional after-school care option at MH Tobias School. This program will be a family fee-based program with JESD offsetting the full program cost for families. The contract will be funded by the Expanded Learning Opportunities Program grant.
If I may address this agenda item, this is in response to, I know you've heard from many community members from MH Tobias about the need for childcare or after school care at that school. And so this is really addressing that need. A lot of several students at the school don't qualify under some of the criteria for ELOP, but there's still the need, as you had said, with FDR. And so this was a way that we can provide that, because families were willing to pay, they just needed the care. And so Champions is also at the site, in addition to who you're going to hear from a little bit later, the after-school program through the Daly City Park and Rec.
And do you believe that this will meet the full need at MH Tobias?
Yes, I believe so. I'm looking at Miss LaRock. Yes, we're hopeful.
So the way this is worded, I'm a little confused. So there will be some students that pay, and then some who will get subsidized and also pay the whole thing paid. How is that going to work?
So there are two programs at the school. One is the Champions, which is the fee-based, but we're not charging the full cost, and correct me if I'm wrong, we're not charging the full cost to families. We're subsidizing that cost from our ELOP funds, which I believe we're allowed to use to subsidize, but we are still charging a fee to offset the full cost. So it's not an exorbitant amount for families to have to pay. Did I capture that, Ms. LaRock?
Yes, you did capture that correctly. We had such a long wait list at particularly MHT last year. I gave a presentation. We gave a couple of suggestions of what we were going to try this year, and that this is one of the things we're trying. We're trying to accommodate all those families that were on the wait list, that all of our spots got filled from the ELOP, but there was still families left and they were open and willing to pay. So this is our way of offering them aftercare, but it is fee-based. However, Jefferson is offsetting the cost a little bit. It is still a cost to the family, but we have offset it just a bit. And I would like to correct myself. There is a small wait list at FDR, for the record. But we're working on it. We're hoping when the dust settles, we'll be able to accommodate everybody.
Okay. So this says with JESD offsetting the full program cost for families, so we need to change this. It sounds like.
No, that's what she was saying, is that we're the full cost of the program is a certain amount. We're not charging the families the full cost. The district is covering partial costs. So that's why that's included in there. Did I explain that correctly?
I read it the same way. I read it that we will be covering the full cost, perhaps saying something that it would be a reduced cost.
Well, I guess the word offsetting is the,
Yeah.
so I believe we can make a motion to, I mean, it's really, the contract states what we're offering. So I think right now it's just kind of semantics, but
Yeah.
if you want to make a motion to say, to approve the contract to reduce the cost of the full program, then that can be in the minutes and recorded.
Yes,
to
because that was
clarify.
actually going to be my question. Is it a reduced cost? Is it a discount? Is it a full scholarship? So whatever it is, I just want to make sure we say it correctly in public tonight.
There is a fee for families, so it's not a full scholarship. So it's a reduced cost.
Okay, thank you. So you're saying that the contract, we don't need to adjust the language, it's just how we report it tonight.
Because the amount is the amount.
Okay, great. Everybody good with that? Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, no, I guess, and just for transparency to public, if they've read it the way we did, the attachments to this on the agenda does explicitly go into detail around like the partial cost. So just in case someone is reading it the way we did, there is documentation to show that it is not the full cost that we are paying.
Okay, thank you. So do we have a motion?
I motion to approve with the I motion to approve with the language of reduced cost for families.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Unanimously approved. Item 7P, City of Daly City AYRP After School Program Updates. Representatives from AYRP will provide updates on the after-school programs at Daniel Webster, Fernando Rivera, Margie H. Tobias, and Margaret P. Brown schools. What does the acronym AYRP stand for?
All right, everybody. Last year, when I gave my presentation about after-school programming, you had asked if we could maybe invite some of our after-school program contracts in to present their programs. So tonight we have two. Next time we have another two, and then in October we'll have our final one. But we're starting up here with AYRP.
Thank you. Hello. Hi, my name is Gina Maganini, and I'm here with the After School Youth Recreation Program with the City of Daly City Recreation Department. I'm here with some of my colleagues, and a lot of our mentors are here tonight to hopefully showcase our partnership with Jefferson Elementary School District and the programs that we offer at your schools. We offer programs at Daniel Webster, Fernando Rivera, and MH Tobias. There we go. Y'all could do better than that. All three of those schools are ELOP, and then our MP Brown School is our ACES funded site. We also have two other sites with the City of Daly City. One is Juniper Serra. That's South City Unified School District, and the other one is Panorama. So there we go. So as you guys know, Daly City is a very vast city that covers a lot of ground. So we're in several different school districts throughout the city of Daly City. These are the mentors. This is why we're here. This is only a few of us, but this is why we're here. These are the ones that are serving the students of Jefferson Elementary School District. They're there every day with these kids, empowering them, making sure that they're there when they need them, giving them great opportunities to grow. But these are the ones that are with these kids that you guys have given us the pleasure of taking care of after school, and they're here tonight. The schools that we serve, we have a contract within the Jefferson Elementary School District. So for Daniel Webster, currently right now we have 115. Our contract is 110. Due to the number of kids that qualify for ELOP, we have gone over our contract. And Fernando Rivera, our middle school, is at 121. And our MH Tobias is 110. And our MP Brown right now is 112. Wanted to kind of showcase a little bit of our collaboration with Jefferson Elementary School District within the city. We have a ton of youth programs. So not only do we do after-school program and we do a wonderful summer program, we also do amazing athletic programs. We do job readiness workshops. We do volunteer programs for our teens. We have a great aquatics program that is up at Westmore. So youth basketball, mini hoops, and all these opportunities are showcased within our mentors and promoted to our families to help encourage the growth of our kids. Regarding our mentor training and partnership, we do monthly on-site staff trainings. We do 2 trainings per year as all staff as a department. We are actually present with most IEPs and 504 plans within our schools that we serve. To make sure we have a cohesive end of school day, regular school day into the after school. We also hire a lot of Jefferson Elementary School District staff to keep that cohesiveness going throughout the school day. Our communication with our principals is through our principals and also our administrative assistants. We use a lot of Class Dojo to keep the parents and everybody informed. We also use our registration, our ActiveNet, to be able to send emails and correspondence to them as well. We are present at all back to school nights, which is coming up, and open houses. We have a lot of fun activities. We also sponsor and help PTA and PTO with events like the jogathons and the walkathons and any type of dances and activities they have on campus. We do a lot of citywide community youth events. So I have 2 videos and I would like to just play one. We're gonna play the trunk or treat one if possible. And it is a citywide event, but you will see, hopefully you'll see a lot of the mentors in the room, but you'll also see a lot of the kids throughout the whole city. This is coming up October 19th and it's at Westlake Park. And what you might not see in that video is all of our our departments within the city are there: wastewater, fire, PD. These are all people that work with us hand in hand, that are able to put on an event for our kids. That event, there's portions of that is free, so it's a community-based event, and there's also like a level up experience, so there is a fee base associated to it, but it's at a minimal rate. Oh, okay. And this is our last video. This is our recap video from our MP Brown site. This was done last year, at the end of last year. We are new to MP Brown as of last year. It was a challenge to move into a new school, especially with an ACES contract that we hadn't worked with in a couple years. But moving into that school and learning about the kids and working with Principal Goff has been absolutely amazing. And this is a little bit of a highlight of what we're doing there, in partnership with all the enrichment that Jefferson Elementary School District also is providing, which you'll see also in this video as well.
sure. Like, just learning what they go through and just like really being there for them when they need. So. Seeing kids start taking initiative instead of us trying to do their homework, they're just gonna do it themselves. Mostly it's usually outside with kids, playing with them, getting to know them person level.
My favorite part is doing activities. My favorite part of our after school program is how we have art class and we use the math science. Is to spend time outside, play with friends, basketball. My favorite part was when he was making donuts and his violins.
Because my best memory of AYRP is not necessarily just one memory, but more just meeting all the kids. So just getting to know the kids and getting to know all their personalities and actually become friends with the kids was fun to me. More like a family type of thing over here. Everybody got each other's back. My favorite part about this school, I would say, is the kids. I think the kids are very cool. Their personalities are really cool.
I just love making a positive impact on these kids and as they grow.
So you were able to see CAM EDU in that video, Mad Science, and LEAP, all after-school enrichment that Jefferson Elementary School District has brought into our program. So thank you for that. I just want to say thank you for having us here. Thank you to all the mentors. I appreciate you all. And give us a follow at dailycity.rep.
Thank you. It's good to see so many of you out here in force to show your respect and love for our community. And so I'm going to give our board members a chance to ask any questions. We'll start. Actually, you want to go first?
Sure, no. When you were showing the presentation, you had put the number of children at each site that you were serving. How many children per mentor is there?
It's 20-1 for the 1st through 8th grade, and it's 10-1 for our kinder, or TK and kinder.
Perfect. And then and they're split by grade level. Is that how the split is, or is there a mix of grade levels? What does that look like?
It just depends on what school. If we have the space to have the classrooms, we do it by grade level. If not, it's 1st through 3rd, and then it's 4-5. For our middle schoolers, it depends on what size of our biggest population. So right now it's our 6th graders, so they have more of the bulk of the space, and so we just rotate throughout the MUR at Fernando Rivera.
I have other questions, but yeah.
All right, thank you for the presentation. I just have one question. So I know you mentioned that some of your staff are JESD staff. I was wondering how many are JESD alumni?
Ooh, that's a great question. Raise your hand if you went to JESD school. Hey, yo. And this is just a little pocket. We have over 120 part-time staff. So this is it's a nice pocket of staff, but yeah, we have a lot of
Good to see
alum.
our representation. No,
Of
thank you
course,
for
yeah.
entertaining.
These are your kids. Big now.
I want to say thank you for.
Can you turn on your microphone for the public at home? Thank you.
Thanks so much for the presentation, and thanks to each and every one of you for being here and for the positive impact that you are having on kids in our community. It's so important. My kids have been in, I think, almost every after-school program, Champions Boys and Girls Club, but the AYRP is, I think, particularly effective and important because you do so many other programs of recreation throughout the city that are greatly valued. So thank you for that. My question is, how do you determine which programs are working and which are not? I know that we've tried like the I think basketball, open gym. Maybe that was new, maybe it was different, but how do you test out, what's working with the community and what needs to be changed?
As a department, we like to get a feel what the community needs. So we do a lot of surveys. We talk to our kids if it's kids related, but for our adults, we actually get out there and We have a ton of community events that we didn't show, citywide events. One's coming up, which is Latino Heritage. So we're able to be within the community to see what they want and need. Using our registration system, we're able to send mass emails to get feedback of what they want. It's important not only with our after-school programs, because this is what we do with the kids. We want to have that student voice, but we also want to have the community voice within our other communities. So our other programs, to make sure that we are offering what the community wants. But for us, AYRP, we listen to the kids. We make sure that the kids, their voice is being heard. We want to offer programs that they want to do. We want to make sure that we're here for them, because we spend a vast majority of time with them, more sometimes than some of the parent guardians, because we're there for the extended day. So we want to make sure that they're having a good time, and we want to have a good time too. This job is supposed to be fun. I always say that, and we like to have a good time.
Do you guys have homework help? And if so, what does that entail?
We do have homework. We call it homework assistance. So we have homework assistance Monday through Thursday at all of our sites, and Friday it's optional. So we offer a certain amount of time on Fridays that we have mentors to help check in. Some of our sites are a little bit more extensive with homework. Some of our sites don't have homework. So it's a little combination of what works best with the kids. But if there isn't homework, we do the disguised learning that we all love, which is our enrichment. And again, having the Jefferson Elementary School District enrichment come in also helps us with our programming.
Follow-up question to that. So when you say assistance, what does that mean exactly? Are you making sure that it's done and accurate? Or are you just making sure that it's done? And if you're not making sure that it's accurate, are you encouraging parents to review the homework that has been done under the assistance that your mentors are giving to the kids?
Always encourage the parent guardian support at home with 110 to 120 kids on site with the amount of staff that we have. We do have the capability to help assist, and we do make sure that they're doing what they are supposed to be doing for that day. But if a child has not been at school and has not done the 3 pages previously, it's hard for us to catch up. So it's that everyday communication with our families. This is what's going on. This is where we're at. And maybe just even saying, like, and I know we all have, like, they might need a little bit more help at home because we're not able to give them that one-on-one attention.
Thank you. I have one other question, but if you have a question, please go ahead.
I just want to make a comment. So first of all, I liked hearing one of your staff talking about enjoying the personal development that the youth go through. And I just want to say that that time period from like 3 to 7, that's crucial, especially for teenagers. So you're keeping them safe, you're keeping them active and engaged. So I'm very pleased with what I saw. I actually don't have a question, so.
Well, thank you.
This is my last question, I promise. And then I'm going to thank you. I like to end on the thank you note. But could you give me like a day in the life of a student that is leaving regular school to the after school program, and specifically want to understand like when enrichment plays into it, like when it stops being, I guess, the programs that you guys are offering, and then when maybe enrichment comes into play? And is that all throughout the year from the beginning of the school year, or is there a point where enrichment starts in the school year and stops, and then your programs are throughout?
Yeah, so actually the enrichment is scheduled. It's almost by season. It's like 2 months, 2 to 3 months. So we're starting our first round of enrichment next week. And it's pretty seamless. We come into program, we do our sign-in procedure, we have our supper. Thank you also for the supper. So they have their supper, and then what we do is we go into our groups, whether that be by grade level, depending on the school, or by level, 1st through 3rd, or 4, 5s, or 6, 7, 8, depending on what school you're at. And then from there, our mentors actually are with them with enrichment. So it's seamless. We're not dropping them off. We are actually engulfed with them, and we are helping that person that's coming in, because although the enrichment programs that are coming in are absolutely amazing, they don't know our kids. So we're there to help support them, to make sure that not only the kids are engaged, but redirecting them. So our person that's coming in, who's doing a great job teaching this enrichment, is able to do it. So we're still there supporting it. So it's not so much of a transition. It's more of, it's pretty fluid at this point. It's our 2nd year. So, I mean, if you would have asked me last year, we would have been a little bit of a different, because we were learning. But now at this point, we're all kind of used to those transitions and who's coming in. And we have a great rapport with the contractors that come in. And I also try to hire them sometimes.
So that I don't have any other questions. I want to just say thank you for all that you're doing. I am a parent in this community. My oldest actually did volunteering for 2 years. During the summer, she actually went to Tobias and went through the ARP program there. And then obviously, so it's kind of like graduating from being a kid to actually being a mentor. And so it just shows this seamless flow that the community is there. And it's not just, okay, we're here for after school. You see these kids when they're out in the community at these events, and that probably feels good to them as well. So I want to just say thank you to everyone that's in the room and for all that you're doing. The children are the future, and so the impact that you're making now is going to have a lasting memory on them. And so just keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
Okay, before you go, I do have a question now. So the mentors, so it sounds like you're saying when the enrichment folks come in, you still have a mentor in there working with the students and the enrichment adults or whatever.
Yes.
That's true. Okay. So how many of the mentors are interested in becoming teachers?
Oh.
That's my question. And I'd like to encourage them to pursue that. We have a nationwide teacher shortage.
We do.
We have a district here that has housing for you as well.
Well, I will say I don't see her here tonight, but we do have a young lady that works at Daniel Webster that is one of our staff members that is doing her student teaching at Daniel Webster. So she's coming. She's
Okay,
coming.
great. Okay. So y'all heard me, right? The other mentors? Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Gina talked a lot about having the kids having choice and voice and kind of directing their program, but I also want the board to know the organization behind the scenes work and the leadership from Gina Maganini is amazing. So I want to thank Gina for that too. And equally amazing is Champions leadership, and they will present next.
Hi, everybody. We're super excited this is our first time presenting to all of you. So just a little bit, my name is Dee Phillips. I'm the regional director for Champions, and I cover the Northern California. So anything from like a Tuscadero all the way up to the Oregon state line is my responsibility. I actually live in San Mateo with my wife and adopted son. We have cats and dogs and all kinds of fun things that are really fun to talk to the kids about, but really appreciate being a part of the community, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to serve the Jefferson Elementary School District. We're relatively new. We've been in the district since 2021, so we were able to help the district really come back from the pandemic and really get kids that needed after-school care and out-of-school time care. We worked with, at the time was Lisa Zinga, and then Jen joined the leadership team. So it's a little bit of the beginning of our journey. Champions, if you're not familiar with us, we are a division of kinder care education or learning groups, and we take care of their out-of-school time division. We are the largest provider in the country with serving over 1,000 school sites in, I think it is now 37 states. But with that big, large portfolio, we really try to do a one-to-one community build. We didn't do videos and stuff like that, sorry, but we did do this one page kind of like overview of what a snapshot is for us, and we call these impact reports. So this is our impact report right now for Jefferson Elementary. Being a larger organization, one of the things that we're able to do is provide more resources to our teachers, our children, and our communities. One of the best benefits for us is that we actually have an inclusion services department that sits in the education department. Most inclusion services departments sit in legal because they want to check the box to make sure things happen. We have our inclusion services department sit in education, and this is a quick hotline for our teachers to say, hey, we're having a kiddo that's having a really hard time, and it's a consistent hard time. Can you give us some behavior practices? So we're able to do that, but We also use the teachers and the principals and the kids during the day so that they know what kind of strategies we can use in the afternoon. But we use that inclusion services, and they are such a great help. They've actually even, not to the Jefferson school district, but in other school districts, we actually have had them come and help us with environment and some different on-site behaviors. The other thing I would mention as far as a benefit is that all of our teachers are at 25 hours a week. They assume full-time benefits, so they get medical, dental, and that's paid for through the organization, through our organization. And then the other thing is that we have a full-time dedicated teacher recruiter. So we have somebody that focuses on us just, to help us find the staff that we need. Don't worry, we're not taking anybody, no mentors. And I didn't know that you guys wore blue. Otherwise, I wasn't trying to fit in. I mean, I want to fit in. I want to fit in because it's all community, but I didn't know that was your color, so I apologize. What's that? I didn't know either. Yeah, okay, yeah. So, but we do have dedicated staff so that, and I'll introduce Amanda in a second, so that Amanda can really focus on creating a great experience at all the locations with the kids and being a good coach to her site directors and her teachers. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Amanda, who's really our area manager, who knows your community best and who is the person who really serves at every level. So I'm going to hand it over to you for, she's going to go over a couple stats and some other fun facts. So.
Thank you, Dee. Yes, like Dee said, this is the first time I'm presenting to the board, and this is exciting, but also nerve-wracking, so bear with me, everybody. My name's Amanda. I'm the Champions area manager, so I've been working in Champions in Jefferson Elementary School District since 2021. I started out as a site director, and I quickly transitioned into the area manager role within that first school year by the end of that first school year. So it's been an amazing learning experience and journey so far working in Jefferson. I really hold it dear to my heart. I've honestly had opportunities to, because I live in the East Bay, to, focus more on the East Bay area. And I've told Dee, she'll say yes. I've told Dee 100 times, do not take Jefferson away from me. I really love everything I've learned and everything that we've grown in Jefferson. Definitely a huge shout out to Lisa Zamiga and Jen for all the support and partnership. So Champions, I'll share some stats about the last school year, and then we'll just jump into the current school year where we're at and where I'm seeing us go. So last year we served 502 students, and this year we're looking at, as of today, closer to 550. At each of our after-school ACES-funded sites, we're on track to hit 100 students plus at each location for the after-school program. So we're growing in the amount of students and families that we're serving, which is great. And I'll share some about the schools that we serve. So we did gain 2 new schools this year, one of them being Marjorie H. Tobias, and that is a parent pay model after school program. It's a little bit smaller. Right now we're starting at about 13 kids, I think, as of today. And we also returned to George Washington Elementary, which was really exciting too. Right now we're at 89 as of today, so those numbers aren't 100% updated. So I wanted to throw in the current numbers for us. At George Washington, we also have Drop Zone. So I think we're at 10, possibly a little bit more than 10 as of today for our morning program, Drop Zone. That one's funded by ELOP. We also have Drop Zone at Woodrow Wilson and John F. Kennedy. We started Drop Zone last school year in partnership with Jen, and so far those numbers have been growing a little bit. We're hoping to max out that capacity throughout the school year as soon as possible. And as of right now, I'll just run through the numbers quickly. We've got 101 students enrolled at Woodrow, 43 at Ben Franklin, that's our middle school, 100 at Westlake, 96 at John F. Kennedy, 90 at Garden Village, 89 at George Washington, and 13 or 15 at Marjorie H. Tobias. A little bit more stats. So one of the things that I love that we do in Champions is collect a lot of feedback. So we do client engagement surveys where we're surveying our principals, we're surveying our district partnerships. We do family engagement surveys where we have our goal with that is more to get as much feedback as we can. That way we can truly create an understanding and set a plan forth to improve and match what the families need and expect out of us. And then we also have employee engagement. So my big goal and job is to retain our staff and ensure that the teachers always want to come back. They know what's expected of them and all that good stuff. So those scores are going up every year since I've started as an area manager in Jefferson. Right now we're at 4.73 for family engagement out of 5 and 4.48 for employee engagement. We do these surveys every October. Yeah.
And the surveys are by Gallup, so it's a professional company that gathers the data for us.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So in Champions, I'll go through some of the things we do every day. So I'll do a walkthrough. In Champions every day, we sign in, we do a meet and greet and a warm welcome for all of our kiddos. And every site looks different, feels different, sounds different because it depends on the setting, the environment, it depends on the community. Each community at every school is a little bit different, right? And the diversity is super different. So we do the same things every day, but it looks different. Sometimes it's in a different order. We always prioritize homework time. So we dedicate 30 up to 45 minutes of homework time every day in Champions. And homework time looks like a supportive environment. It's a quiet space that we provide the children. We give them that opportunity and we expect them to uphold a responsibility to completing their homework as well. Our teachers travel around. We're at a 1-to-20 ratio. Teachers will travel around, support the students, whether it's a quick tutoring moment, or we'll help have the students join in groups to help one another as well. Other than homework, we do curriculum. So in Champions, we have science-backed curriculum that we offer. There's seasonal curriculum, oh my gosh, supplemental curriculum that's related, this is my favorite, to the different heritage celebrations throughout the month, Hispanic Heritage Month or Asian Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Those are some of my favorites because it gets all the children involved so that they can all feel represented in the program after school. We also have Inclusion Connections curriculum. That one's new. We started that, was it a year ago? Mm-hmm. About a year ago. And that one's connected to our Inclusion Connections, or Inclusion Services Department, sorry, that Dee mentioned earlier. So that curriculum's fun. We do it once a week. It's all about social emotional learning and identity. Right now, specifically, our sites are doing a Rising to the Challenge curriculum. And this is all about social emotional learning, but also learning about themselves, learning about one another, connecting with one another in this new school year. And they also get to learn about us as teachers and leaders in the program. So that really helps build us up for this school year. And of course, we do outside time. We like to keep it structured. That is the expectation. Structured outdoor fitness and group games. We have one of my favorite manuals. It lists out every possible outdoor and modifiable, to bring it indoors if it's raining, different group games and activities that students can do. Teachers can lead it, students can lead it. So we implement different options throughout the day. Very important for us to implement student voice and choice. Absolutely, but we also want to make sure that there's a structure to the day. As an extension from the school day, I really try to make sure all of our staff and our site directors, those site leaders, support the structure so that the students are getting what they need. And as an extension from the school day, we're not losing sight of what the expectations are. The rules are at school. So we let the students use their voice and choice in deciding what they want to do, expressing their interests. We take that information and we'll implement that into our programs at the teacher level. Am I missing anything?
No, the other thing I would just say is all of the enrichment that the Jefferson district provides to us, we use that too. So we really appreciate all the different, and I think it's Gina, you were talking about, like, I was on the basketball court last year with when they came and did the basketball camp. So we were still there also to help with the children, just knowing the children. But I thought it was great. It was a lot of fun. So yes, I am tall and I did play basketball. So that may have been some of the reasons why I enjoyed it. But we were equally, we're involved with that. So. But
Yeah,
I
and
guess
and
open
think
to you
that's
guys'
it.
questions.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. We'll start this side.
Sorry. Thank you both for the presentation. And yeah, my kids are also former participants and champions. Yeah, it's such an important thing to have rewarding, enriching after school programs. And yeah, so I guess my question is on the student voice. I think I was just wondering how student voice and choice kind of manifests itself. And Amanda, I heard you say that, it's students choosing what activities they're doing. I'm just wondering on the voice side, like what you're hearing, some of the main themes that have come through in your programs.
That's a good question. The first thing that popped into my head had to do with food, to be honest. And it makes me think of last school year. I started partnering with the food department in Jefferson School District, and we collected a lot of feedback from the students. We wanted to make sure that they were eating. We also wanted to ensure that we were supporting the school district and, getting those reimbursements for the suppers that they were serving. And so we took a bunch of surveys. We had the site directors talk to students and get some feedback, and that helped support us getting better food in the supper programs. We got the warm food back, the hot lunch stuff. We've got more vegetables in our supper, more variety. For example, tahini with cucumbers. I mean, one of my favorite snacks, but the kids absolutely love it. I remember I was there the first day, a big group at Woodrow Wilson saw the tahini and the cucumbers. They were like, no way. So student voice and choice in that way, food's everything to children. So that's one example. But in another way, it makes me think of our service values. So in Champions, one of our service values is I respond to the unique needs and interests of every child in my program. And when I say student voice and choice, what I mean specifically, or I guess vaguely, is we listen to them. If they say they're bored, our teachers are going to take that and learn how to modify certain activities to meet their interests. If the kids in a certain grade and group are into anime, we will implement a curriculum that has an anime theme to engage them, to strike their interest. It's kind of like, and we sneak in the learning in with the play and the fun. So that is one way. Another way would be through stations where they can choose what type of activity they want to do. It's still structured, they're still learning, they're still having fun, but they're able to choose where they want to go in certain parts of the day.
One of the things too I would add is like student voice is that we heard last year that they wanted more books in our program. We have a large library already provided, but they wanted more books. They wanted different books, especially in the middle school. And if you can get middle schoolers to read on not like after school. So we went with, not only for ourselves did we get books from Champions, but we also went to the school district and said, hey, what can we do to get more books out for the kids? So it involved, using the library and, in one location, I think we actually got the kids' library card. So there was some of that, like they were craving for that, that element of reading, so.
All right, I have one question and then two quick comments. So the only question I have is, when you're receiving feedback, you receive it from everyone, and so I know and this might actually be more of a question for Sandy or Jen. When the program receives feedback, but it's given to the teachers or the principals, how does that get relayed to you? Because sometimes the trusted adult is usually, or with even the families, is the principal or the teacher. So how does that feedback get relayed to you all?
So if the child tells the principal,
or if
their
a
classroom
parent
teacher?
doesn't know who to tell, and it's like, oh, I know the kid's teacher, I'll talk to the teacher. How does that feedback get relayed to you all?
Usually get it through Jen, like it'll come up through the channel and then we'll get the feedback and can react to that in that way. So it's pretty quick. We hear a lot, when it's good and when it's bad, but we get it for sure.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to make sure that the feedback was being.
Yeah, and then if there's
gotten.
any time, like my phone number and Amanda's phone number is listed in every site. So even if there should be a parent board that's there, and if there's any kind of feedback, concerns, or questions, they can text us. And there's also a 1-800 number, but that's like not as close to us. We would be the first to react to it.
Awesome, thank you. And then I'll pass my comments until later. So,
Okay.
Thank you.
I actually don't have any questions. My daughter actually attends Champions at Garden Village, and I recently met Amanda and already talked to her about some things. So I actually don't have any questions. I just want to say thank you for all that you guys are doing, and I also appreciate the questions that I would have asked were the same ones that I asked earlier, and you kind of went through that in your presentation. So good on you. Thank you.
Active listening.
So I don't really have any questions. I just want to say thank you to all of you, including AYRP. For coming out here. You said it's your first time and you were a little nerve-wracked, but we're here to support you. We asked you all to come. We love Ms. LaRock, and she's spoken highly of all of you, but we want you to have your chance to brag a little bit, let us know more about yourselves, but also the public gets to hear all these wonderful services that you all are providing. So thank you.
I mean, I was just gonna throw on there. I know at the beginning you said we don't have any fancy videos. I don't think we're looking for fancy. The thing that we're looking for is, are you supporting our kids?
That's right.
We're hearing that. That's all we need to know. So thank you.
Well, we appreciate the time with the board, obviously, and we'll be back again, hopefully. And next time we'll bring our friends. So, but I'm kind of glad we didn't. They would be standing.
I was gonna say, I don't think we have enough room in our boardroom for that, but thank you.
And we want to also just thank the other providers. We work on campus together, and just so that the board knows that there's no competition. It's not we're better than them. It's how do we take care of these kids together? And there's many times where kids that should be in their program or they wander over to ours and back and forth. And that just speaks to the community that you all lead, because there is none of that competition. It's all for the kids, and how do we make sure that they're safe and taken care of? So just wanted to close with that. So thank you.
All right, thanks once again to all our presenters. Now we will move on to business and financial procedures, item 8B. So, Ms. Peterson, you thought you were off the hook tonight? Okay, so item 8B, and Trustee Rashba asked for this to be pulled from the consent agenda.
Yeah,
All right, let me see. The bid opening for the Fernando Rivera School Office Remodel Project was held on August 20th, 2024 at 2 p.m. at the district office. The administration recommends the project be awarded to the low responsible bidder, Coulter Construction, in the amount of $1,712,999, plus a 10% contingency to cover unforeseen conditions to be controlled by the district administration. The recommended contractor has submitted the low valid bid. A bid summary is attached. This project will be funded by Measure J.
So I requested this be taken off the consent agenda just because it is a significant amount of money, and I want to, it's important that we make sure that funds are being spent responsibly. We have a funding source, great, but I wanted to hear a little bit more about this $1.7 million effort. Wanted to know if we've worked with Coulter Construction before, how long this project would take, and if you could just speak to the need and goals of remodeling the office at Fernando Rivera.
Sure. So you may or may not know, but Fernando Rivera was built originally as an elementary school, and the office is located in the center of campus. So as we're trying to secure the campus, having members of the public to go into the office, they have to pass through several classrooms and get onto campus, to the center of campus, to get into the office to inquire. So in order to keep the campus safe and secure, we need to move the office to the front of the school, especially now that we have the fencing up. So in order to do that, we are transitioning classrooms that were in the front of the school into an office space. And so you'll see, we gave you some information, some packets here. You can see the blue on page 1, the blue sections, and there's some in the back for the public. You can see the first blue, which is going horizontal. That's where classroom space was that will become the new office. And then the vertical blue is where the current office is. And so there will be that transition there. So that's the reason why we need to move the office to the front of the school, for safety and security for our students and staff. The duration of the project will take, it's going to be in 2-3 phases, because we first have to do the construction of the new office. So those classrooms are now empty. We've been able to, it was an art room. We've moved the art room to another place on campus and constructed that this summer. This office space, they'll begin construction. We're hoping to have that and ready for the office staff to move in by mid-January. And then once they, because right now they're still in the old office, once they are then moved in, then it's phase 2, where they're going to then construct that area to be a workspace for staff as well as a wellness center. So for our counselors, et cetera. So that will be phase 2, and that will finish about in May. So it's going to take several months for that. So it's 2 parts. The question about Coulter, no, we have not worked with them before. But in our district, just for the public to know, we do have a bidding process that bidders have to complete a pre-qualification that actually was through Miss, you may remember, through Miss Kessler, that was developed using guidance from I'm trying to remember, I think government code, but using guidance through what is other districts are using, et cetera. So this process, this pre-qualification process, has been in the district for a long time. We also have board policy on it. Bidders have to complete the questionnaire, get pre-qualified. They have to attend the pre-meeting on site so that they can look to see what the work is going to be before they bid. If they don't go to that pre-meeting, then their bid is not going to be accepted. They have to go to that. So all of the, you'll see in the second document that's under there, which is the list of the bidders, and we have to do the handwritten version because it has to be public and signed, but in the future we'll make sure we add the electronic version later so that you can read it better, and we'll try to work on our handwriting too. But you can see then all the bidders, they have to meet the pre-qualification criteria, and then they also have to attend the pre-meeting to be on site to see the work, and then from there, then if they are qualified, then it's the lowest bidder. And so Coulter was the lowest bidder. And I'm going to, Mr. Heath and Ms. Peterson, did I capture that accurately? Do you want to add to that?
So Coulter was the lowest responsible bidder. There are requirements to actually respond to the fact that you have seen the addendums, and there were 2 addendums to this project, and the lowest bidder on that sheet did not respond to those addendums, nor was that lowest bidder pre-qualified at the time that they submitted their bid. So Coulter then became the lowest bidder, even though on that sheet there's a bid that was submitted by a firm that was lower, but that was not a responsive bid.
That makes sense. Could you just explain the addendum issue? That they need to acknowledge that they've read through and respond in some way? I didn't understand.
So during a bidding process, or during the process after we have the pre-bid meeting, quite often we will issue an addendum that has any required information. The contractors have the opportunity to ask questions about the plans. The answers go out to all the contractors in writing, and so those are issued as addendums. So let's say, for instance, we were going to put in lights in this building, then they could say, you know, does need to be like-type lights in all the same places? Whereas if the plans didn't specifically say that, they can ask that question. We have to answer that question to everybody who is going to bid it. And we do that in writing. We can't have direct conversations with individual bidders. So those are addendums. The first addendum in this project was the DSA-approved plans that were finalized, and they got those right after the meeting, because the first requirement is to attend the pre-bid walk. Then they're issued usually addendum 1, which is the set of plans and all the narrative, the specs as they call them. So that was addendum 1, and then we issued an addendum 2 afterwards later on, which was the answers to all the questions. So they have to acknowledge those addendum receipts. If they don't, later on what they could claim is, well, I didn't have this information, so therefore I have to increase the price.
So to add to that, this pre-qualification process is used for all bidding. So when you see consent agenda items, we want the public and the board to know that this is the process we use that has been approved by the board and is what most districts do. So it's a very rigorous process, a very transparent process. And that's, we just want to make sure everyone is aware of that.
Yeah, I will also add to that the building and trades in our county have come to us in the past to ask us, are your bidders pre-qualified? So that's another reason why we did this as well. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Heath, but part of the pre-qualification criterion is that the contractors use local labor talent. Is that correct?
The contractors have to have done business with school districts. They have to have have a DIR number, which is the Department of Industrial Relations number, and that shows that they're paying prevailing wage in the local area. Different areas have different prevailing wage levels, and so they have to pay that prevailing wage for the local area. So we have a prevailing wage that's based on the standards in San Mateo County, and you're correct. So there is a whole list of things that they have to do to pre-qualify, and basically all of these things show that all of our questionnaires to prior districts and or entities that they've done business with allows us to vet them and know that there will be a good partner on a project.
And just a final question, just concerning use of the space, that these were classrooms and you said an art space. Do we just not have the need for that anymore due to fewer classes since the purpose of the available space is now being changed?
Yes, so the space that is now going to become an office was 2 classrooms. One of the classrooms was vacant. It wasn't because of our declining enrollment. The other classroom was an art space, so we moved it to another vacant classroom that now has the kiln and the ventilation and the big sink for the art. So we were able to convert another classroom into an art space so that we can use that front space because it was the most logical space for the office in front of school. So because of our declining enrollment, we were able to only have to really move one classroom, one active classroom. And that classroom still exists and is in another location.
And then I have a couple, well, I guess they're related questions. So in the new plans, I see that there are now 3 counselor offices instead of 2. Does this mean that we're increasing the number of counselors that will be at FRS?
It's just for confidentiality spaces. We want to make sure that we have the rooms that we might need. So they're called a counselor office, but it's just really a space.
And then the drop-in offices, I'm assuming those are similar things.
Same idea.
For administrators.
For private conversations, maybe with a parent or with, any kind of confidential conversations that need to happen.
No worries. Thank you for clarifying those. No further questions.
And the only question that I have is with regard to the 10% contingency. It says conditions to be controlled by the district administration. I know that with other projects, we've always had someone come back and there was an additional cost. What does that mean? Does this mean that we won't go over the 10%, or does this mean that we still could go over the 10% as well?
So we always budget a 10% contingency, which is us at the beginning of the project asking the board to allow us to budget the money to cover any unforeseen circumstances. Often in construction, we have unforeseen circumstances, and whether that's something underground or whatever the case is. But we also have the verbiage in there that it's controlled by the district. It's not part of the contract with the contractor. If we were to say that this was a $1.7 million project and we allowed it to, and we contracted for $1.8 million, then that would allow the contractor to spend that money at will. Now they have to come back to us and ask us if there is an issue. They ask us for what's called a change order. We have the money budgeted to do that, but they have no physical control or financial control over it until we release it to them. And then at the end of the construction process, when we do the notice of completion, we always come to the board with the final price of the project, showing that we've either utilized that money or we haven't utilized that money. In some cases, we have not utilized that money, or we've used that money to do value-added things that weren't originally in the contract. And it's like, well, now we have the money to do additional landscaping or whatever the case is.
Thank you. That's helpful.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, do we have a motion?
I'll move to accept the Fernando Rivera School Office Remodel Project.
A second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Unanimously approved. Item 9D, provisional internship permit. The administration recommends approval of multiple subject provisional internship permit for the 2024-25 school year for Jasmine Castellon while she completes her credential program at University of Massachusetts. Ms. Castellon will be teaching kindergarten at Margaret P. Brown School.
Motion to approve.
Resounding second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, and I just want to say thank you to Ms. Castellon for continuing your education, and thank you to Mr. Valenti for facilitating this. And all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Unanimously approved, and congratulations to Ms. Castellon. Item 11A, Board Policies, Administrative Regulations. March 2024 CSBA Board Policy Update, second reading. The board will review and revise board policies, administrative regulations, board bylaws for March 2024 CSBA Board Policy Updates as stated in a second reading. And do we have any discussion on this? Okay, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Unanimously approved. Item 12, governance team member comments, reports, future agenda items, and board meeting reflection. And we'll start with Trustee Rashba.
I want to thank Superintendent McCulick and Ms. LaRock for organizing the presentations tonight. That was really helpful, inspiring just to see the room full of, our coordinators for the after-school programs and mentors and hear more about what they're doing. That was really valued, as well as the other reports tonight. So thank you very much for a good meeting.
Thank you very much for this good meeting. Thank you very much for this meeting. Thank you to everybody who presented. Thanks to the audience for staying around the whole meeting. And then happy Labor Day weekend, everybody.
I echo those sentiments.
I want to commend everyone for coming out tonight, and also just announce that last night I was sworn in as a Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention Commissioner for the county. And so I just want to urge all of our student services folks and even our specialized academic instructors to be more aware of juvenile justice issues and to be part of the solutions to improving those conditions for our students. And it just reminded me last night at that meeting how much of the work that we need to do and the importance of us doing all the prevention work that we can to keep them in school and keep them off the streets and out of being incarcerated. So I just want to commend all the student services workers, all the after-school programs that presented today, and thank you for your service. And Superintendent McCulick.
Congratulations, President Ali.
thank
I
you.
also want to thank Ms. LaRock. She has been just such a great advocate for after-school programs and really taking on a lot and making sure all of our programs are coordinated. She's my jack of all trades. She can do anything that we throw at her. So we really appreciate all the work she's done in the coordination. And then I also want to thank our providers for sharing tonight. We'll be seeing a couple more next time. And then also want to thank Mr. Heath for providing some clarity around the questions with the construction projects, and appreciate the work that he does. And also enjoy your 3-day weekend, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we will adjourn the meeting at 8:16.